In this video, we're going to be making a Mini Plex server with SSD storage using a ZimaBoard. If you haven't heard of a ZimaBoard before, it's a low-cost, feature-rich single-board server. We'll take a look at its features once we get it unboxed. This is a limited edition set that was sent to me by Seed Studios to try out and share with you. It comes with an awesome branded case with the components all packaged and protected with foam cutouts. Included with the set is a ZimaBoard single board server on the top, and underneath it is a CasaOS 480GB SSD, a 12V power supply, a PCI Express adapter, a SATA Y splitter, a SATA cable, an Ethernet cable, and a mini DisplayPort to HDMI adapter. The ZimaBoard runs a quad-core Intel CPU, and its x86 architecture means that it can run a wide range of operating systems including Linux, Windows, and Android. There are 3 variants of this board. This one is the most powerful 832 variant, with a 4-core Celeron Apollo Lake processor that runs at 1.1 GHz with a burst frequency of 2.2 GHz. It has 8 GB of LPDDR4 RAM and 32 GB of onboard eMMC storage. What separates this board from other similarly sized single-board computers is the inclusion of a PCI Express 2.0x4 slot and 2 SATA ports. On the opposite side to the SATA ports are 2 USB 3.0 ports and 2 Gigabit Ethernet ports. There's also a mini DisplayPort and then the power input. It's a fanless design with a dual-purpose housing and heatsink on the top and a gloss acrylic bottom. The included SSD is a 480GB CasaOS 2.5-inch SATA drive, which the included SATA cable plugs into. The 12V 3A power supply includes a couple of different wall adapter options. The SATA Y splitter allows you to power 2 SATA drives from a single power supply on the ZimaBoard. Then lastly, the included PCI Express adapter allows you to connect an M.2 NGFF or NVMe drive to the board. So that's a general overview of the ZimaBoard and what's included in the limited edition set. So let's move on to setting up our Plex server. As usual on this channel, I don't like having loose cables and drives lying around, so I'm going to start by designing a drive holder and stand for the ZimaBoard to hold 2 2.5-inch drives underneath it. I did this in Fusion 360, and I'm going to 3D print the adapter bracket in black PLA and then laser cut the clear acrylic side panels. Since I'm going to be using it as a Plex server, I'm also going to engrave the Plex logo onto the side and try and put colored inserts into the acrylic for the orange part of the logo. So let's laser engrave and cut out the side panels first. Now we need to cut the 2 orange inserts for the section of the logo that has the cutout. We'll add these to our 3D printed bracket and we're then ready to start assembling our Plex server. We're also going to need a couple of M3 screws and nuts. I've got 4 M3x16mm screws to go into the ZimaBoard and then 8 M3x8mm screws for the drives. I'm using the nuts because I'm not installing a drive in the bottom bay for this build. To finish off the side panels, we need to first glue the inserts into place, which I'm going to do with a drop of super glue along the top and bottom edges. While the glue dries, let's install the bracket onto the bottom of the ZimaBoard. This is done with the 4 M3x16mm screws to replace the shorter black screws that we're removing from the bottom. Keep these screws in a safe place in case you want to remove the drive holder in future. Now let's peel off the protective film on the acrylic panels so that we can install them. The insert is a bit less orange than I would have liked, but it still looks quite good I think. I'm going to use the top bay for the SSD, so that I can easily add a second drive through the bottom in future if I'd like to. The drive and panels are held in place using the M3 by 8mm screws. I'm also going to add some M3 by 8mm screws and nuts to the bottom holes. This will give the side panels a bit more support and will close up the holes so that the finished assembly looks a bit neater. Now we just need to plug in our cables to finish it off. Our Plex server is now built, so we can move on to configuring it. It comes preloaded with CasaOS, which is a software package by Iceworld that is built around the Docker ecosystem, but with a user-friendly web interface. The default password is CasaOS, and you're then taken to a desktop like this. If we open up the system monitor, we can see that we got our 4 processor cores, 8 gigs of RAM, and 32 gigs of eMMC storage. Once your ZimaBoard is connected to your local network, you'll be able to access the web interface through the assigned IP address. I don't yet have it connected to my network, but I can still access the web interface locally through the quick launch on the toolbar. The first time you log in, you'll need to create an account, and you'll then land on this dashboard. I'm now going to connect the ZimaBoard to my network and then reload the web interface so that we can install Plex. If we open up the App Store, we can find Plex and then click on Install. This will download a pre-configured Docker image and launch it on our ZimaBoard. It'll then appear alongside the other containers running on our board, and we can then click on it to open up its web interface as well. We'll need to create another account, this time for our Plex server. Plex will then run through a configuration wizard. We're not going to be using any premium features for this build, so we can just close this window. I'm going to give it a name, My Plex Server. We can then start adding our media libraries. These are basically locations or folders that contain our media files. I'll set up movies and TV shows, as this is what I'm going to be using my Plex server for. Before we can finish off this step, we need to know where our media is being stored on our ZimaBoard. So let's open up the file browser app. File browser's default username and password is usually admin, so it took me a few tries to figure out it's been configured as CasaOS as well. We can now see our files and we can see that there's a folder called Media. This contains further folders for movies, music and TV shows. And we've got the movie Big Buck Bunny available in our movies folder. So let's add these locations to our Plex server as libraries. Let's start with movies and we can then add the folder that we found in our file browser app. We can then do the same for TV shows. Lastly, we can choose what content we want to be visible as pinned sources, and we'll then land up on our Plex server's web interface homepage, where we can see that our movie is available. TV shows is empty because we had nothing in this folder yet. You can add media to either of these folders using the file browser app, which can be accessed using its IP address and port on any other computer on your network. We're almost finished, but we need to make the media on our SSD available to our Plex server as well. Currently, only the content on our onboard storage is available. If we open up storage on the CasaOS dashboard, we can see that our drive is being seen, but it's not available as a storage location. So let's create a storage location on the drive. I'm going to call it SSD storage. I ran into a bit of an issue here. I left it for a while and the storage location never popped up. I tried creating it again, I tried restarting the system, I tried it again after restarting, but I couldn't get this tool to work. If anyone with more experience using CasaOS knows what I'm doing wrong here, please let me know in the comment section. This looked like it should have been pretty straightforward. I eventually managed to get the drive formatted and mounted using the disk utility on the desktop. Remember to mount the drive after it's formatted, otherwise it still won't be available. You can now see that it's available as a storage location. We then need to open up the app settings for Plex and add the volume to make it available to our Plex server. When you click save, it'll relaunch Plex with a new configuration. So you'll need to give it a few seconds to start up and you'll then be guided through the wizard again. So just repeat what we did previously. When we get to the library step, we'll need to add folders to our movies and TV shows media types. You'll see that we now have our SSD storage folder available, but it's got nothing in it. So we need to create folders for our movies and TV shows. I'm going to do that quickly through the desktop, and they'll then be available on our Plex server. If you also want the local eMMC storage locations to be available on your Plex server, then you can either add them as additional libraries, or you can add their storage locations to the existing two libraries you've just created. If you add them as additional libraries, then you'll have multiple libraries for movies and TV shows, and they'll each only have the content from their respective folders. If you add their storage locations to your existing libraries, then you'll have a single library for movies and a single library for TV shows, and they'll be pulled from the two locations. And that's it, our Plex server is now ready to use. You can play media locally directly on the ZimaBoard, or you can use a network connected device like a tablet, laptop, or Apple TV. They'll also remember where you stopped watching and will allow you to resume playback on a different device. With the Docker system on CasaOS, you can also use your ZimaBoard to run a range of other applications. I'm going to be using mine to run Pi-hole and Home Assistant as well. Let me know what you think of the ZimaBoard and my Plex server in the comment section below. They're currently being shipped to backers from their Kickstarter campaign, and they'll then be made available for sale. I'll leave a link in the video description to the Seed Studio product page if you'd like to get your own. As I mentioned earlier in the video, they have 3 variants available, so you do have some options. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more tech and electronics projects, tutorials and reviews.